Well, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Anna and the Book Hunt. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my recent reads video for February, where I'm discussing the reads that I had from the start of the month until about halfway through. And I've been wondering if I should continue on with doing this format of splitting up my reads in two, or whether I should do just a couple of entries every month of my favorites and least favorites. I'm kind of on the fence about it because I'm still looking for the best kind of formula for myself to see how it would be best for me to do it. But at the moment, I think, because I've already prepared this video like this, I'm going to continue in February as I have before, and then we'll see what I'll think about in the month of March. If you want to leave your opinion on what would be your preference for how I should upload, please do so. It will help me out. Otherwise, I'll just need to see what I come up with and how I want to experiment with this. In the month of February, from the 1st until the 14th, I read, I think, 14 or 15 books. I'm not sure. I'm going to discuss them in a moment. For some of them, I've already uploaded a video, so I'm going to link it in the cards if I have, and I'm going to tell you, obviously, so you can check it out. And for the rest of them, I'm just going to quickly mention if it's a book that I really loved or really didn't love. I'm going to talk about them. Otherwise, I'll just give you some tropes and a brief synopsis so you can figure out whether it's a recommendation you want to take to your TBR. So the first read I had was The Last Aether by Tessa Hale. This is the second book within the series. I started the first one at the end of January, and I immediately continued on with the series because I had the two audiobooks. I am still waiting for Storytel to upload the third audiobook because I definitely want to pick it up. I gave this one 4 stars. It's a young adult urban fantasy book that is a why choose romance and has fated mates within it. So I'm really loving this series. I had a lot of fun with the first one, and I immediately continued on with the second because I was really enamored with the world. And I'm not going to talk about the plot of this one because it's the second book, but if you're interested in a short and fast-paced urban fantasy book that has a lot of focus on the romance, please pick up this series. You won't regret it. Now, the second book, I am very happy to say that Storytel has started to upload Lauren Asher's books into their library. They've uploaded the fine print, but I've already read that one, so I'm not going to read that one again. And then I hope that soon they will upload also the other books within the, what was it, the Dreamland Billionaire series. So Terms and Conditions and The Final Offer. I'm waiting on those. I would really love to read them in audiobook format. I do have Terms and Conditions in the Kindle format, but I preferably would like to read the audiobook, so I'm going to wait it out. If it doesn't come out soon, I'm probably going to read the ebook anyway. But the book that I read next was Throttled by Lauren Asher. I have heard a lot of good things about this book and about this series. It's a companion series, and it has a high rating as well. But unfortunately, it fell kind of flat for me. I'm gonna tell you why. I really love sports romances. This one is a sports romance where we have a Formula One driver in the center of the story, and I really love stories which center on sports that are not the most frequently discussed ones, like American football, hockey, baseball, soccer. Those are like the big sports, right? But whenever we have this kind of sport that is not very much talked about, or there's not too many romances that focus on that sport, I'm really interested in such stories. So I was really having high hopes, especially because Formula One, it involves adrenaline and rivalry and just a lot of tension and a lot of endurance and stamina and just so many things that make me immediately intrigued to pick up this book, to see also how the author dealt with all the things that are required of a man who is a Formula One driver. So I was really, really excited to pick it up, but then it really, because maybe my expectations were too high, it really kind of fell flat for me because I did not feel a lot of the chemistry between the hero and the heroine. The hero, his name is Noah, he's the Formula One driver. He is on this team and he's kind of like the golden boy, so he has a reputation of kind of being the person who is expected to win the title. And then he has a rivalry with this guy, Santi, who used to be on another team, but for the next season, he's going to be joining him on his team. And the interesting thing is that Santi is going to be taking his sister with him on tour, and the sister, Maya, she is the love interest for Noah. She's a vlogger. She is very much kind of like the heart of the company type of girl. So I really did like her character, and I think that at the end I felt really more connected to her than to him, and that's why it kind of felt flat for me, because we're following a Formula One driver and mostly his story and what is going on with the tour, etc., etc. I was more wanting to know about her. So that's kind of what made me not love this book. I gave it 3 stars, and I even kind of contemplated DNFing it about 60% into the book, but I was like, okay, I'm too far in, so I'm just going to continue on. And I'm happy that I did. It wasn't a bad book per se, but it just wasn't up to my expectations. Now, the next book that I read is one that I actually really did enjoy. That book is a male new adult book called Mr. Romance by Louisa Masters. The book follows Charlie, who is this oblivious guy. I mean, I don't know even how to explain him. He is the type of guy who is just so nice to everyone, especially to a lot of women. By the way, at the beginning of the book, I think it's mentioned that he's bisexual. And the thing is that he's so nice to all women that he has conversations with on a regular basis kind of think that they're involved with him. So he is absolutely not aware of the fact that he's giving hints to these women that that he's interested in them, while he's absolutely not interested in them. He's just trying to be nice. So at the beginning of the book, we find out that 3 different women think that they're in a relationship with him, that they're dating, while he has absolutely no clue that they consider that they're dating. So all of his friends are kind of making fun with him that he has been doing this for years and he isn't aware of it, so he really should cut it out. And there is this guy on campus, Liam, who is considered to be Mr. Romance. He's giving advice about romantic gestures and how to win a girl over or a guy over, and he is hired, or he is not hired. I think he's hired. Was he hired or was he asked to help Charlie out with teaching him how to understand social situations better, kind of almost like an anti-Mr. Romance in this situation. So Liam is like, okay, I'm gonna help you out, and they start to have conversations about, okay, how should I react in such and such situations? But then at some point they spend so much time together that they start developing feelings for each other, and their romance is so cute, and there's just so many funny, amazing situations where you just can almost laugh out loud, because Charlie is absolutely oblivious when it comes to certain situations. It just makes the story so much more fun. So I definitely enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars. Next up, I read Hawk by Kat Savage. This book I picked up on a whim because I don't know, I think I was captivated by the cover somehow. I don't know what it was, but it was an audiobook that I had, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick this up and see how it goes. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't anything special. It was a tattoo studio owner and tattooist, obviously, and a recently divorced single mom who is kind of in a bind, and he offers her a job to be like the hostess at the studio. And she has a lot of baggage because of her recent divorce. And he's immediately, while he is kind of reluctant about her because he kind of doesn't see her fitting into their world at all at the beginning, especially because also of the kid, he kind of slowly but surely melts towards her, and we find out that while he has a very kind of tough exterior, that he's absolutely almost like a golden retriever type of boyfriend. So yeah, it was just an okay read. I wouldn't say that it was a bad read. I flew through it, but it was just, it was lacking that kind of factor, you know, the wow factor for me to remember it. I think in a couple of months' time, if you ask me about this book, I don't know what I'll tell you about it, because currently it just wasn't a wow book. Next up, I picked up Until It Fades by Kait Nolan. For this book, I actually have a dedicated reading vlog where I had artificial intelligence recommend books to me. I'm going to link it up in the card so you can check it out. I gave this one 5 stars. Sorry, I had to turn on the lights because it really got dark very quickly here. The next book was quite a surprise for me. I was browsing a website because I have a gift voucher to choose a book. And I'm still choosing the book. I still haven't chosen which book I want to, which book I want to order with that voucher. But I was browsing that website and I saw that there was this stunning cover of a book. The book is called The Gravity of Missing Things, which is by Marisa Urgo. And it just has such a stunning cover, and I was like, okay, I really want to read this story, but I haven't read it yet, and I don't want to order the physical copy if I'm not going to like the book. So I was very happy to see that I had it as an audiobook on Storytel, and I decided to pick it up. The book is a YA mystery book. There is a slight element of romance into it, but really the driving force within the story is the mystery. We have the story revolving around Violet's family. Violet, she's a teenager, maybe 14, 15-year-old, I think 15-year-old. And her mom is a pilot. And one day she has this recital going on, and she was expecting her mom to fly in from Brazil. And she was going to be on time for her recital, but during the recital, she sees that her mom is not there. And when her recital finishes, she finds out that her mom's plane has gone missing. And the whole story revolves around what has happened to that plane. A lot of truths are uncovered about her mother, her past, and her current situation. And Violet, it feels like she's the only one who is trying to figure out what is going on. Everyone has kind of given up, and they've said like, plane gone missing means people dead, so yeah, game over. But she really was adamant about the fact that she needed to have closure and that she wanted to know what happened to that plane. So the whole story revolves around her trying to get to the truth. I was really pleasantly surprised by this story. I gave it 5 stars. I was so engaged and very emotionally invested in the story, but I was really intrigued and very involved with the story, which made it a 5-star read for me. Next up, I read a couple of novellas. They weren't really anything to write home about, so I'm not going to spend too much time on them. The first one is Hold Tight by Alexa Riley. I gave this one 2.5 stars because it really wasn't that good in my opinion. It's a short workplace novella. I think the audiobook was not even 2 hours, so I think really novellas only work for me whenever it's an author that I know that I enjoy books by. So yeah, this one I just wanted to try it out because I haven't read anything by this author before, but it wasn't for me. I didn't really enjoy it, so 2.5 stars. The next one is Take Me Home by Cassie Mint. I have read stories by Cassie Mint before. Thin Ice is one of my favorite novellas by this author, so I do want to read more by this author. And she has really crazy plots usually. This one is no exception. This one involves ex-boyfriend's uncle as the hero, and then the heroine is like in her 20s, and she has always kind of had an obsession with this uncle, so she kind of seeks him out. So yeah, it's an age gap, ex-boyfriend's uncle romance. It wasn't bad, it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't as good as Thin Ice, but I definitely did enjoy it. So yeah, 3 stars is fair enough. And then the next one, I'm not sure that one is really a novella because I think it's over 200 pages, but it's Single and Ready to Jingle by Piper Rayne. This one is a holiday romance, and it's really the typical kind of Christmas lover versus a person who is kind of a Grinch. And he's a British hero. Oh, by the way, it's also brother's best friend, and typically that trope really is not for me, but I didn't know that it's a brother's best friend, to be fair. When I started reading it, I found out. So yeah, it just wasn't for me. The hero was really stuffy and very unlikable. The heroine was nice, I liked her, but I just couldn't get over my dislike for the hero, so I gave this one 3 stars as well. The last 3-star read that I had for this month, so the last book that I didn't really enjoy, was Let It Be Me by Kait Nolan. This book is a reverse age gap, friends to lovers, single mom romance, although the single mom aspect is a bit on the different side. I'll explain in a second. We're following Emerson, who is the godmother of the child in the book, and the child's mother, she was her best friend, she passed away, I believe, in a car accident, so she was left with the care of her child. So basically she adopted the girl, and the guy who helped during the event with the accident was a firefighter. His name is Caleb, and he immediately, when he met Emerson, he was very captivated by her, and he helped her out on the scene of what happened. And he kind of had a stalkerish move. He always wanted to make sure that she's all right, so he was checking up on her, and he bought the house next door to her at some point, so they became very good friends, like best friends. But he has always had feelings for her, so he's kind of been waiting until the teenager in this case grows up and goes to college so that he can make his move. And that's what happens in the story. So the child has grown up, she goes to college, so he makes his move. There's a lot of push and pull when it comes to Emerson in this story. She is insecure about the whole situation because they're friends. She doesn't want to ruin the friendship. At the same time, she's also older than him, so she's kind of like, is it worth it? And I don't know if I can have kids or want kids. While he is very young, he's probably going to want kids. So she's kind of ruining the whole situation for herself over and over and over again with all of the insecurities that she has. So that's kind of at some point really got to me, and I was like, either take it or leave it, woman. I mean, someone who has invested so much of their life into your life and you don't want to move or at least give it a chance, at least let him go, you know. I was like really over it at some point, so I gave this book 3 stars. We're moving on to 2 books that I really did enjoy. For the first one I have, it's part of the reading vlog that I did for the artificial intelligence, so you can check it out in the cards. The book is Rookie Move by Serena Bowen. It's a hockey romance, second chance romance as well. It's also kind of workplace because she works for the PR team for the hockey team, and he's one of the rookies at the team who is transferred from one team to their team. And I really like this one. I gave it 4.5 stars. You can check out my thoughts on that one in the video about ChatGPT. And then, because I really like this one, I picked up the second book within the series. It's a standalone but kind of companion series about one of the other guys on the team, Urgo, and the book is called Hard Hitter. I gave this one 4 stars. It's the romance between the team's masseuse and yoga instructor and one of the players on the team. The interesting part within this story is that he is the type of person who doesn't like to be touched, but because of all of his injuries, he's ordered by the team physicians to go to the massages that are done by Ari. And at the beginning, she's like, okay, everyone loves my massages, why doesn't he love my massages? But he's just the type of person who doesn't like to be touched. So, and there are reasons for that. So I like that aspect within the story, how that was woven into the story. I mean, in the previous book, he was really portrayed to be the kind of really hard-ass, almost unlikable type of hero or character. And in this story, we really find out throughout his backstory what the situation was with him not wanting to be touched. And I really loved that aspect within the book. And I loved Ari because she's the typical kind of heroine who makes you comfortable, or at least she made the hero comfortable for him to relax and really focus his focus his energy into something more positive, because he has always been very closed off. So I really like that from the reluctance that he had, she really melted it away. And yeah, I really like this book. I gave it 4 stars, and I'm on a roll with the hockey romances, everyone. I've been giving them 4 and 5 stars here and there. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one and I would definitely recommend it. Next one is a book that I gave 5 stars to. It's part of the artificial intelligence video as well. It's called Flat Out Love by Jessica Park. This one was a very special story for me. I shed some tears during that vlog because really this book had me emotional by the end. And it was a very special story involving a student who goes to Boston for college, and she's camped out of the apartment that she rented. So her family's friends decide to put her up in their house. And when she goes to their house, she finds out that there's a lot of strange things going on with that family. She immediately gets very attached to them and wants to help them out with the situation that they're dealing with. And in the meantime, she falls in love. So yeah, it's a very special story. If you want to find out more of my thoughts, please check out that video as well. For the next story, I looked at that cover and I was like, I immediately want to read it. I don't want to know anything about it. And typically it's kind of a hit or miss scenario when it comes to me falling in love with the cover. In the past couple of months, I've had a lot of misses when I've loved the cover and then started up a book. But this one actually made up for it because it was I was very pleasantly surprised by it. The book is called Make a Scene by Mimi Grace, and I gave this book 4 stars. The book involves Retta and Duncan. They have businesses next to each other. She has a bakery cafe and he has a gym. And he has recently opened up his gym, so she has been using the parking spaces in between their businesses, but now he wants to make use of those parking spots as well. And she's kind of reluctant about giving up what she has been using for quite some time. So she kind of strikes up a deal with him, which I don't know if it's beneficial for him, but anyway, she needs a date for her cousin's wedding. And she needs it very desperately because her cousin is marrying Retta's ex-boyfriend. And it's a very kind of dire situation because the whole family knows about the history. They're very much pitying Retta, and they're very much looking forward to see her moving on with someone else. So yeah, she is desperately needing someone to be her fake date at this wedding. So they make a deal of him accompanying her to the wedding, and then they'll strike up a deal about the parking spaces. So this is how the story starts, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this book. It was a pleasant, very heartwarming type of story, and yeah, I definitely wanted to see how their relationship would bloom from fake and into real. So it was very nice, nicely done. I definitely want to look up more by this author. I don't know if this is a debut novel or whether there are more books by this author, but I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for more. The last book that I picked up was one that I definitely wanted to pick up around Valentine's Day. It's actually a novella, but there's 3 short novellas that are accompanied into one, and Storytel had all 3 all bundled up together, so I listened to all 3 of them, but I consider them to be one because they're all short novellas. The book is called A Blind Date with a Book Boyfriend, and it's by Lucy Eden. I think the first time I saw anything about this novella was on Bree's channel from In Love and Words. She recommended it, or she said that it was on her TBR. So I was like, okay, I have it on Storytel, so I definitely wanted to pick it up around Valentine's Day as well. I started to listen to it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Why is this not a full-length novel? I really want it to be a full-length novel because it involves Jordan, who is going to some city in California to go on this job interview, and before her job interview, so one day before, she goes to this bookshop to find her next romance read because she's an avid romance reader, and she has this amazing meet cute in the bookstore with the most amazing kind of guy, and they spend an amazing day together. She falls head over heels in love with him and he with her, but then she finds out that he is the owner of the company where she's going to be interviewing, and it's kind of take it or leave it. So she's either going to take the job at his company and not pursue a relationship with him, or pursue a relationship and not have a future in his company. So she is devastated by this, and I absolutely loved it, but I would have loved it more if it was a full-length novel, because this just sounded so good. I was I had a permanent smile on my face while I was reading this, because there's just so much goodness into this novella. Like, everything that you wish for as a bookish reader is included in this novella, and I just wanted to be immersed into it even more. I give it 4 stars. If it would have been a full-length novel, it probably would have been a 5-star read for me. These were all my recent reads, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned, and let me know what you've been reading this February, whether you had any smashing kind of 5-star reads that you need to get off of your chest that I definitely need to pick up as well, or any romantic reads that you read around Valentine's Day. I would love to know more. And yeah, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you want to follow my content in the future. And I hope to see you very soon in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care, and bye-bye.